Hello my loves, we've just had the autumn equinox, we're now in October, and that means we have the perfect opportunity to explore the Vata Dosha. So get comfy, grab a hot drink, and let's dive in. Hi, I'm Georgie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I'm a 200-hour registered Kundalini yoga teacher and I have been practicing yoga for around 20 years. On this channel we explore yoga, wellness and spirituality, so don't forget to subscribe and join the community. The theme for this month is the Vata Dosha. In this video we will discuss Ayurveda and the significance of autumn as the season of the Vata Dosha by exploring what this represents, its connection to autumn, and how imbalances in the Vata Dosha can manifest and what we can do about it. So what is the Vata Dosha? Let's start right at the beginning with Ayurveda. Now, Ayurveda is the sister science of yoga. It's an ancient Indian system of holistic medicine. So it looks at the body as a whole. It doesn't just examine the symptoms and treat the symptoms, but it tries to get to the root causes. Now, this system, Ayurveda, recognizes that there are three fundamental energies within the human body, although they can be found elsewhere because they are part of the building blocks of something called Prakriti. Now, Prakriti is the true nature of something. Now, many of us have heard of the elements, so earth, water, fire, air and ether, and how these are the building blocks of everything. Well, the doshas are kind of like the next step on in the philosophy or the evolution of this idea, because within each dosha are certain elements and there is like a focus within those elements. So back to these fundamental energies or these doshas. Now there are three. There is Vata, Pitta and Kapha, and like I said, each dosha is associated with specific energies, with specific elements, and they all manifest in very different ways. We're going to be looking at Vata because autumn is the season of Vata energy. It's kind of it's taking that energy and it's making it manifest in the world around us through the environmental change. Now, it's characterized by qualities such as air and ether. Those are the elements. So we're looking at cold, dry, light and mobile. These qualities are similar to the brisk, changeable nature of autumn, but we'll come back to that in just a moment. Now, if you're a person with Vata as your dominant dosha, we have all of the doshas, but we just have them in various levels. So someone may be Vata dominant, someone may be Pitta dominant, someone may be Kapha dominant, some might have only very small amounts of one of them, but we all have all three because, like I said, they are the building blocks of everything, and that is what makes up our true nature. People with Vata as their dominant dosha tend to have dry skin, dry hair, they'll feel the cold, so will probably prefer warm weather, and due to their blustery, wind-like nature, they're usually quite active, whether that's physically, mentally. They've probably got a regular daily schedule, maybe they struggle to stick to routines, and that can obviously lead to a feeling of like chaos within themselves. There's obviously nothing wrong with being Vata dominant, and there's nothing wrong with being dominant in any of the dosha. However, if it becomes unbalanced, and then you start to get physical and mental issues. So physical issues could be issues with joints, so cracking, aching joints, perhaps arthritis, high and low blood pressures, insomnia, constipation, depleted energy and regular headaches. If you are feeling some of the mental disorders of a Vata imbalance, then it will things like depression, anxiety, possibly even as extreme as bipolar disorder or obsessive compulsive disorder. But it will mainly affect most of us with feelings of higher levels of stress, higher levels of anxiety, and that kind of spacey, unfocused feeling. Now, as summer changes into autumn, the environment also undergoes a significant change. The air becomes cooler, it gets drier because of the wind, leaves start to fall, and there's a sense of movement and real change kind of in the air, as it were. So that correlation between the Vata energies and the things that signify Vata energy, the fact that the environment is doing that naturally means that even if you don't have a Vata dominance anyway, it will naturally increase your Vata levels within you. Some things to look out for this season when Vata could potentially become excessive would be digestive issues due to the dryness, constipation, bloating, gas because of all the air, and irregular digestion. And like I said before, joint pain, so perhaps, your joints become more achy, or perhaps you've got a little bit of stiffness, especially when you wake up in the morning. Maybe the joints are cracking a little bit more than normal. Anxiety and restlessness. So just like the erratic winds of autumn, Vata imbalance can lead to increased feelings of anxiety, restlessness, and a feeling of being scattered and having a scattered mind. Dry skin and hair, maybe your skin is starting to dry out, maybe your nails and your hair are becoming more brittle. And then maybe as well you are sleeping differently. Maybe you are experiencing some feelings of insomnia. Maybe you are struggling to fall asleep. Maybe you're waking up a lot during the night, or perhaps you are waking up earlier than you would do and you're then struggling to get back to sleep. Now, this does sound not great, so don't worry if you are feeling any of these symptoms or you're concerned that Vata may become imbalanced due to the season. Then good news, Ayurveda also provides us with ways that we can help control and maintain and bring all of this back into balance. So the first thing that we can do is get cozy. And I don't just mean get cozy in terms of whacking up the heating so that we stay warm. I'm talking about, those feelings, those emotional feelings of coziness as well. So whether that's making yourself a nice hot chocolate, maybe it is putting on your favorite film and sitting underneath a blanket, lighting a candle, all of those things, anything that makes you feel emotionally as well as physically snug is going to help balance out and bring in that warmth that we lose during Vata season. Continuing that theme of bringing in warmth, we're eating warm and nourishing foods, so leaving those cool salads from summer behind and starting to have more soups, stews, herbal teas. This is going to help balance that cold and dry aspect. But also eating seasonally. So now is a really good time for our root veggies. So having more sweet potatoes, carrots, parsnips. These are root vegetables. They're seasonal, but also because they are in the ground, they're very grounding. So it can help balance that spacey feeling by grounding ourselves. Increasing the moisture in our food, so having more nuts and seeds for their oils, and then introducing spices. Now it doesn't have to be chilies and literally hot food, but spices such as cinnamon, ginger, maybe just adding a little bit of pepper or a little bit more pepper to your food. This will all help stimulate our internal heat. This is a yoga channel, so how can we help balance Vata energy within our practice? The first thing is to become mindful of your breath work. Breath work is obviously a huge part of the practice. However, certain breaths like Satali Pranayam and breath of fire can really aggravate the Vata dosha. Remember, this is drying, this is cool, this is already quite a windy energy. So if you're doing a cooling breath like Satali, then obviously you're cooling yourself even more. So surely breath of fire would be fantastic because it's going to kind of warm us up from the inside. However, it's really rigorous, and one of the things that we need to do with Vata to combat that racing, stress, anxiety, spacey, like blustery feeling is to slow down. So slow down, less vigorous exercise, maybe cut back on the HIIT classes, cut back on the cross training, and do more walks, more yoga, more Pilates, more gentle, nourishing activities. With regards to our physical practice, obviously sun salutations can be quite a powerful and dynamic flow. So really slow these down, really take long, slow, deliberate breaths within each posture of the sequence. Perhaps less jump backs and more step back, so you kind of get that additional stretching within the joints and the muscles. And then work on grounding postures. So these will be some of our standing ones like mountain and tree pose. Now sometimes people will recommend a warrior pose because obviously it is a balancing and a standing posture. However, I personally think that warriors are quite a, well, they're quite a powerful pose, and we're looking to kind of work against that. So perhaps incorporating some half moon poses, sugar cane, things like that that are a bit more gentle, goddess pose for example, which brings me into getting into the hips a bit more. So things like frogs and pigeons and yogi squats. These are all going to help to open the hips, but especially positions and postures such as yogi squat. They're going to be fantastic for helping stimulate the digestion and balancing out some of the digestive issues and constipation and gas that we may experience as a side effect of increased Vata energy. We can also support boosting the digestion through adding twists and some gentle inversions, but the big trick, and possibly the biggest challenge when you're already feeling a Vata imbalance, is extending your Shavasana. Now, a lot of us are guilty of cutting it short, especially when we're not practicing at home, cutting short our Savasana, skipping it completely, we're meditating, so I don't need to do it, but really give it some attention, maybe extending it to 15 minutes, perhaps even taking a Yoga Nidra and a few of those deeper relaxation classes. I do have a few relaxation videos up on my channel, so I will add a link to the playlist. Over the next few weeks on my channel, we're going to be practicing some classes. We're going to have some meditations, some Kundalini, perhaps a Hatha flow, and all of these classes will help in some way to keep the Vata Dosha balance. By understanding the connection between autumn and Vata Dosha, we can help ourselves take better care of our bodies and minds during this season of change. By recognizing the signs of Vata imbalance and taking proactive steps to bring balance, we can embrace autumn's beauty and vitality without feeling run down and overwhelmed, and celebrate our own inner harmony. Thank you for joining me today on this journey into Ayurveda and exploring the Vata Dosha. Remember that by harmonizing our energy with that of the season, with the world around us, we can lead a more healthy and more balanced life. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more yoga, well-being, and definitely more ways to keep the Vata Dosha balanced. And until next time, have a beautiful day.